This Stranger Things scene in Season 5 failed multiple times because the cast couldn't stop laughing during filming. Recall the moment when Steve chases the Demogorgon down the street while Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan are in the car. They're screaming and terrified because of Steve's reckless driving. But you won't believe how this scene was actually filmed. Before filming, the directors had to confirm that Steve was a good driver, but instead of filming on a real street, the chase scene was shot inside a production room filled with blue screens. The car wasn't moving at all, so Steve was pretending to drive while the other actors had to act fear while looking at the blue screen ahead. But not everything was fake. For the scene where Steve drives through the opening to the upside down, the production team built a real opening in a tower and actually drove the car through it. But this scene turned into a real disaster, because actor Dustin kept screaming in a funny way all the time, so Jonathan and Nancy couldn't stop laughing at him. Comment if you love Steve, Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan team in Season 5. But while this scene required a lot of pretending and many blue screens, this wasn't the case for another action scene in Season 5. This was the most difficult scene to film in Stranger Things Season 5, and it didn't pass without accidents. In the final scene, when dozens of Demogorgons attack the military base, we see how many soldiers are involved in the fight. And while many think everything is created with CGI, the reality will blow your mind. For the soldiers shooting scene, over 100 stuntmen were on set. To create a realistic fight with the Demogorgon, each stuntman was attached to a wire. So when we see soldiers being thrown on screen, the crew would pull the wires to make it look like Demogorgon hit the soldier. On screen, the soldiers fall to the ground, but in reality, the stuntmen would land safely on piles of foam to avoid getting hurt from the pulling. But that's not all. For the scene when Vecna walks in through the opening to the upside down, a lot of CGI was used. Because in reality, the opening was just a large entrance with blue screens in the background, making it easier to add digital effects in post-production. But the craziest part is that during the fight with Vecna and the explosion scene, some stuntmen were actually set on fire. That's why it looks so real on screen. It's hard to believe, but for this scene, the crew literally built a small fake town with great attention to the smallest details. In total, this set took over a year to create, and all of it was destroyed in just a few days. But it wasn't only stuntmen who performed the stunts in Season 5. You won't believe how the Will and Vecna scene was actually made. When Vecna walks out from upside down to confront soldiers, he uses his powers to lift Will from the ground and draw him toward himself. And the filming of this scene will blow your mind. To make Will rise from the ground, the production team attached ropes to his body and used a crane to lift him. While this happened, two crew members carefully monitored his movement. One pressed down on Will's feet to create the perfect lifting effect, while the other, who was wearing a green suit, stood behind Will to control the ropes and guide his movement. But that's not all. To make it look like Vecna was pulling Will toward him, the crew member in the green suit pushed Will forward. And the craziest part is that they made multiple holes in Will's clothes to attach all the ropes, but on screen, not a single hole was visible. Comment below if this scene looked real to you, or did something feel off. But while Will's stunt was filmed safely, the next scene in Season 5 was much more dangerous and could have gone very wrong. Remember the moment when Lucas, Mike, Nancy, and Jonathan enter the Turnbow family house to set a trap for the Demogorgon. Here we see the Demogorgon falls for every trap they set in the house, but the way this scene was filmed will shock you. On the set, the production team used a stuntman in a special bodysuit, with a cardboard behind his head to match the Demogorgon's height. So when we see the Demogorgon enter the house and pick up the dummy on screen, it is actually a real person acting in that scene. And when the Demogorgon falls into the hole trap as we see on screen, the stuntman really did fall, but ropes were attached to his body to keep him safe. The cutest thing is that the Demogorgon stuntman JD Garcia had a lot of fun playing the creature. Send lots of purple hearts below if you believe Garcia is the best Demogorgon. And now let's take a look at another scene that became painful not only on screen, but in real life as well. When the Demogorgon appears in the Wheeler's house, Ted confronts and tries to fight it, but he gets pushed into the wall, completely breaking it. These scenes are crazy on screen, but the way they were filmed is even crazier. Just take a look at this. When Ted attacked the Demogorgon, a stunt double JD Garcia was playing the part of Demogorgon. He was holding a piece of foam with a cross mark in the corner, which helped the actor playing Ted hit the correct spot. But that's not all. For the moment when Ted is thrown across the room and crashes through the wall, a stunt double was used. Even though the wall was fake and made of cardboard, the stunt looked so realistic and painful that the stunt coordinators on the show couldn't watch it calmly behind the scenes. The craziest part is that even though this scene lasts only a few minutes on screen, in reality, the Demogorgon attack scene at the Wheeler's house took over 5 days to film. But that's just one of the many surprising details from the filming of Stranger Things Season 5. These are 3 crazy details behind the bathtub scene in Season 5 that you didn't know, and the last one will surprise you the most. We all remember how Holly tries to escape from the Demogorgon and hides underwater in the bathtub with her mother. But the reality of filming that scene is completely unexpected. The underwater shots were not filmed in a real bathroom. Instead, the production team built a huge special bathtub on a studio set. It was cut in two, with one side being a regular tub and the other side made of glass. This allowed the cameraman to see Karen and Holly underwater. But here's the crazy part. To keep Karen and Holly from floating to the top, the production team gave them weight belts that pulled them down into the tub. Karen's nightgown was double-layered to hide the stunt pads she was wearing underneath, and her wig had to be specially designed for underwater filming. The funniest part was that after filming the bathtub scene, the actresses had so much fun playing in the water that they didn't want to get out. Comment below which of these details was completely new to you. And if you're watching until this moment, it means you're one of the most loyal Stranger Things fans and really want to know something special. Thank you for making it this far, and let's check out a few more exciting behind-the-scenes secrets that might become your favorites. Not many noticed it, but in Season 5, Vecna has a brand new look. After being set on fire by Steve and Nancy in Season 4, the directors wanted him to appear more monstrous and less human, so they used a few secret tricks. In Season 4, no CGI was used on Vecna, so the actor Jamie had to spend over 6 hours in the makeup chair to be ready for a single filming day. Another 2 hours were spent at the end of the day to remove the entire costume, but everything changed in Season 5. The makeup team only created a head and shoulder costume for Jamie. The rest of his body was covered in a skin-tight catsuit with tracking marks for visual effects. Because of this, the makeup process was improved, taking only 3 hours instead of 6 to get ready for filming, and 1 hour instead of 2 to remove the costume. But here is something unexpected. Due to his slim posture, Jamie asked the makeup crew to place football pads under the suit to make his upper body look bigger. Send lots of yellow hearts for Jamie if you love him in the role of Vecna. But don't skip next, because something unexpected happened with Jonathan and Steve during filming, and you don't want to miss it. In the scene when the radio station network fails, Jonathan and Steve decide to climb the tower to fix it. And on screen, we see them climbing a few minutes to reach the top. But there are some crazy details you didn't know. The production team actually cut the tower into 3 parts. The base part stayed in its real location, so the actors only climbed 3 steps there in real life. The middle part was built in a different location surrounded by blue screens and with ropes attached to Jonathan and Steve to keep them safe when climbing. And the top part was built on the production stage so they could climb it in seconds. But here's something really funny. On screen, we see Jonathan and Steve competing with each other while climbing the tower. But behind the scenes, the actors were hugging, laughing, and having fun the whole time. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like and be sure to comment which of these behind-the-scenes moments is your favorite. Watch till the end to see more funny photos from behind the scenes of Season 5.